Alright, party people, it's a beautiful day here at Mt Spokane. Pretty stoked to get up here. It's going to be day 2 of NAEC training. We're going to be doing some pedaling up. We're going to be some shredding down, and it ought to be a great time. Hopefully you guys are as stoked as I am, and the weather's great wherever you're at. Let's get into it. This was one of those rides that ended up in such a cool way that I never would have guessed. So when I got out of the car, I got ready and I started to pedal, and there was a guy sitting there, and he and his buddy were just like, "Hey man, you want to jump in? We'll give you a shuttle to the top." And I thought about just staying on the road for the fitness, but ended up taking the shuttle. Maybe a half mile up the road, we picked up another guy. This guy's name was Rob, and we ended up riding the whole day together. It was freaking awesome. Ever since then, I now got a new riding buddy, all because some very kind stranger, shout out to Jordan, gave me a ride up. Rob and I got to ride the trails. He was just like me and wanted to climb up, so we went down the goods and were able to actually pedal up and get 2 laps of the goods in. Great riding day. Not quite as much climbing fitness as I was anticipating, but hey, that's okay. We still got a lot of descents in. So this is my very first ride of the goods this season, and the whole goal with it was just to make sure that I was maintaining a consistent level of output, that I was riding well, and that things were going good. The other note is this is the very first ride from my DVO Topaz. I was going to be making sure that it was all dialed in, and just to jump ahead a little bit, thing was freaking dialed right out of the factory. I keep my notebook and my notes of all my bike setup, and I just set the Topaz up that I got back from the factory exactly like I had from last year when I was riding that thing, and it was spot on. So shout out to keeping notes, shout out to Jordan for giving me a ride, and I now got a good riding buddy in Rob after he got picked up. So let's get to riding.
That's where you get. You're like, I just need to make it safe home to the girls.
Yeah.
You know, I've had my first run was just a blind like blaster.
I always know I'm getting tired when there's something that I know is coming up, and I still just eat it as hard as I can.
Yeah, right.
Like all it takes is just like a little pull,
yeah,
and you're good to go.
Dude,
And when I can't do that, it's like, okay, let's reel it back and get home safe.
I didn't realize how bad it was.
When in doubt, it's probably us. Aggressive, just get aggressive.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting scared. I'm like, close my eyes. I'm like,
And point that front wheel a little bit where you don't want to go.
No, that's fun. I love it.
All right, should we finish up?
Oh yeah, dude.
All right.
So yeah, it's May 29th. I got about 18 days until the NAEC, and man, if this sickness doesn't get any better, I'm going to be really a hurting unit, but do what I can. These were the cards that I was dealt, so we're going to deal with it. In keeping with the NAEC training idea, I'm going to read you guys some of the notes that I took after this ride. Okay, so this was the first ride where I switched over to the air shock from the coil, which I have in this picture. The coil just feels a little bit too oversprung, and so I think I need to drop down a spring rate. I'm currently running a 400-pound progressive spring. I need to drop down to a 350, but that's going to be put on the back burner because the air shock feels so incredible. So I'm really happy with how the bike rode. Everything seems to be locking and loaded. Listening to the audio of the ride itself, the bike's nice and quiet. It's doing its thing, and it feels good. Now, there's a few notes here when it comes to hesitancy. So I was still a little hesitant in the corners, and is how that shows up is I enter the corners too late and then cut hard in the apex of the corner. And is what that does is that loses a lot of momentum, and I have to get back on the pedals pretty hard at the exit of the corner, as opposed to entering the corner and ride the berm all the way through, or do an early in, early out type of thing. And then when I enter too late, I end up dragging my brake a little bit more than I should, slowing me down just a little bit more. I am looking at the front wheel just a little bit too much. I need to look through the corners with my eyes and my belly button a little bit more, right? The belly button's getting that bike body separation. I'm also still a little bit hesitant to commit on a few of the features. There's a number of features in here that if you pull and you really commit to it, you can actually end up doubling into the next little jump, and it's It's smooth, it's fast, it's wonderful. If you don't commit to it 100%, you end up pulling too hard and sort of dead sailoring. And the note I have here is confidence. The bike will handle it if you let it. And that's what I need to do. This bike is so capable. I need to just hold on and let it do its thing. Okay, now when it comes to my fitness seems decent. I definitely blew up a little bit. The good news there is that I seem to recover really quickly as soon as we stopped. I was not at all running out of energy on this ride, and that was fantastic. The thing that I'm also working on is that because I know I'm going to be out there for a long time, I'm working on my nutrition while I'm out there. A lot of people will not at all practice their stomach before they go to an event. I used to see this in CrossFit all the time. People would show up, and that's when supplement dealers would be trying to hand out samples. They'd be trying samples before their workouts. You need to make sure your gut is going to be able to handle whatever you're going to put into it when you're at the race. And so I've got a whole bunch of honey stinger stuff. Honey stinger seems to settle really well with my stomach, and is what I did is I'd eat half a bar at the bottom, and then I'd finish that bar at the top. And so staying up on my nutrition and my hydration was totally key. I think I did a pretty good job on that. I got a little bit of a nagging discomfort with my shoes that I need to figure out, so maybe get some new insoles or something like that. Hey, I'm still getting over this cold or whatever I had, and hopefully my voice isn't too froggy. There's a lot to learn here. Appreciate you guys sticking around and checking it out. Let's keep riding.